Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today we're not going to have a normal dental school vlog. Today it's a Q&A video. So I've gathered some of the commonly asked questions that I've received from everywhere and I've collated them and I'll just be briefly answering them. Okay, let's start with the first question. The first question was, how difficult is dental school and how busy are we? Okay, so yeah, I think this is definitely the question I've been asked the most. But yeah, the first thing I want to say is that I think like being busy, difficulty, those things are very subjective. So whatever I say here is not really an accurate representation of the experience of the entire cohort. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, or maybe a bit more than a grain, but yeah. All in all, I found first year quite difficult. And yeah, in two aspects. First, studying. So first of all, the biggest difficulty that I've faced was that the difference in study load in undergrad and postgrad. I know that like during our first semester, in some of the weeks, we had like 10 to 15 lectures to watch, and then around like 5 to 10 hours of practicals slash tutorials. And for some of the subjects like head and neck anatomy, it was crucial that we stayed on top of our stuff because they really do continue to build up on what we have learnt throughout the semester. So if you miss, a few lectures, you will not know what's happening the next week. So yeah, it was quite hectic, I think. But I think there's definitely a point in time when you start to get used to the study load. You do find the study style that works for you. And things definitely do become better then. For me, I think semester 2 was definitely less busy than semester 1. But yeah, I felt like I was more prepared for what's to come compared to semester 1. But yeah, definitely there isn't one way to study for exams, but you definitely start to understand how to study for exams after you have your first set of exams, So yeah, I think what I want to say is that don't preemptively worry about the study load or the difficulty of dental school. I don't think that should deter you from applying to these schools and shooting your shot. Because at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat and you'll definitely learn to enjoy the process and you'll get used to it. So I don't think it's worth worrying about the difficulty of dental school. But yeah, and the second aspect of dental school is the practicals. This year we touched on a lot of subjects such as tooth cons, where we restore the cavities, endo, root canal treatments, radiology, perio, pros, and so on. But yeah, I must say that this part of dental school was actually quite difficult for me. Partly because I think I don't really have the best hand skills. And I think definitely at the start of dental school, that does play a part in your performance. I mean, I did hear from others that at the end of the course, everyone will reach a, similar level. But I think definitely in first year, you can kind of see the differences amongst everyone because some people just naturally have better hand skills than others. Yeah, so I think that really kind of did manifest for me, my not so proficient hand skills. And to be honest, there were so many points, especially during first semester, where I seriously reconsidered my decision to pursue dentistry. I remember first few sessions into tooth cons, I found myself dreading the next session. And I was scared that I was slowly forming this hatred towards dentistry, which was the last thing that I wanted to do. But I try to approach it in a very healthy way. I realized that this emotion was honestly more to do with the fact that I wasn't really used to doing the things that I weren't good at and my tendency to avoid the things that I'm not proficient at. So I think it was quite smart of me to look at it a bit more objectively and really analyze where my emotional hurdles were coming from. And after that kind of thought process, I think things somehow did get better for me. I realized that everyone was in the same boat and repetition does, practice does make things better. And that really helped me gain or regain my confidence and helped me learn to enjoy the process and trust the process. And I think it was important to realize that I just scraped the surface of dental school. So it wasn't fair for me to be such a hater. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a ramble, but all I wanted to say was that those difficulties of dental school did initially make me scared of what's to come next. But then I realized it does get better, and I've learned to enjoy the process, and I did get better. And even if you do start forming negative emotions about dental school due to its sheer difficulty, I think you can definitely tackle those emotions in a healthy way and develop a better relationship with dentistry. But that's my experience. Next question was, what subject did I enjoy the most and the least? I think definitely tooth cons is one of my favorite subjects. It's actually more of a love-hate relationship. It was definitely like very difficult for me. That act of drilling such a small object, following a very specific dimension, etc. That was just very daunting, I think. And it's not an easy job. But then the reason I enjoyed it was you do repeat it like every week, and you really do see yourself improving after those series of repetitions. And I think I do really enjoy that sense of accomplishment that comes from that, that recognition that you're improving. And what did I enjoy the least? I think for me, removable pros was definitely the least enjoyable. Hope none of the tutors are actually watching this. It's great, but I think it was just a little tedious for me. And it was difficult for me to get wrap my head around all the concepts and apply them in a practical sense. It's also because we didn't really get that many sessions for it just because of COVID. I hope in the upcoming years we do get more exposure, and maybe I will learn to love it. So the next question is, what hobbies do I have? What do I do in my spare time? How often do I do it? Do I have the luxury of pursuing my hobbies? I think this year was actually a big stepping stone for me. Like in the last 3 years of undergrad, I think I didn't really have that many hobbies. Like all I did was just study at uni, go out with friends, spend time with family, or just, work. And I think, I didn't really have anything that I would say are my hobbies. But then, this year I really decided to take up a few things and make more time for myself. I think partly the reason was because of lockdown. I had to keep myself busy somehow. I took up things like running, gymming, cooking, also vlogging as well. And I'm really glad that I did, because I think it's really easy for dental school to consume your life. And if you don't make time for yourself, no one else will. So I think it's really important for you to have these hobbies so you can distract yourself from all the stresses of dental school or other personal matters. In terms of frequency, I think you definitely always have time to, pursue your hobbies. At least for me, I could fit in gym maybe 4 to 5 times a week, even during exam seasons, running once a week. I think it really depends on your mindset, and also you just got to make the right compromises. I felt subtracting 1 to 3 hours of studying every day from my daily schedule, that didn't really make a difference. I think even if it did, I don't think I would have minded that, just because I got so much more out of dedicating that time into the things that I want to do. So don't be scared that you will lose time for your hobbies. You just always have to make the right compromises, and if those hobbies yield you things that are worth the compromise, I think you're winning. Next question was, do I have a job? Do I have time for a job? So I've been in the tutoring industry for a very long time, and I'm still doing that. And I also took up a dental assistant job recently. So I dedicate around 15 hours per week for work. I think it definitely is quite hefty. Sure, there's people in our grade who don't work at all, But then I also think about the people who like have part-time jobs, and I tell myself, oh, I shouldn't really pity myself for being so busy. How I think about it, like in terms of like time dedicated to work and hobbies, is that like, let's say that I have to spend like 5 hours at work, and let's say that I will be awake for 16 hours that day. Instead of thinking that I have 16 hours left, I think, oh, I only have 11 hours in my day. So I only essentially have 11 hours to begin with. Not sure if that makes sense, but I think I just condition myself to think that it's almost like a sunk cost. Then I get less stressed and anxious about the time lost doing other things other than studying. So the next question asked about housing situations for domestic students. So for me and a lot of my other friends who are local Sydney students, we still live with our parents. I think there's no reason for me to move out of my house. I still have to travel around 40 minutes to get to Sydney Dental Hospital, but I think there's a lot more that I gain by staying with my parents. But then I know that a lot of like international or interstate students do live around a campus, either in student accommodation or in like an apartment. I'm not really sure about their situation, but yeah, for a lot of Sydney local students, we still do live with our parents. So next question was about admission criteria. How do you get admitted into USYD Dental School? I do plan to make a separate video on this. I'm not really sure what's the situation with international students, but for domestic students, there's two main pathways. First one is the GAMSAT pathway, and the second one is through the double degree pathway. So I've been admitted into the program via double degree pathway, so I can't really offer that much help with the GAMSAT pathway, but I do plan to make a video about it with some of my friends who did get admitted into the program via GAMSAT. But yeah, for double degree pathway, you first need an ATAR, and they just look at your ATAR and they decide whether to invite you to the interview process. So yeah, when you get invited to the interview process, they put you in a group panel interview and also a written assessment. I will definitely elaborate further on this in future videos. So if you do have any questions specific to the admission process, yeah, let me know. So the next question was asking about what subjects I took for HSC. So in year 11, I took up 3 year English, 3 year maths, physics, chemistry, Japanese, and in year 12, I dropped to 10 units, including 4 unit maths, 2 unit English, physics, chemistry. Very typical Asian subjects, and I think I do really fit into that stereotype because I really did enjoy those subjects. My advice for subjects is that, I think this sounds very like cliche, but you know, take up the subjects that you enjoy, because you naturally do put more effort into things that you like to do. Last question was asking about fees of dental school. So in terms of fees, there's like more information on the USYD DMD website, which I'll link somewhere. But other than subject fees, there's definitely additional out-of-pocket payments that you have to make. Big one is for all the equipment. So I remember they said that you will need around like 5.5k AUD for first year for equipment. I don't think we've spent that much yet. I think I definitely like spent around 3 to 4k this year just buying equipment, and also paying for different like deposits and rego fees and all that. But yeah, I think the initial cost is definitely really high, but it does become cheaper, I think, in the upcoming years. And I think the next big purchase that I have to make is loupes, like those magnifying glasses that dentists use. That's going to be like around a few Ks, so I'm saving up for that one. So yeah, my advice is that you'll definitely have to spend a bit more than your subject fees, just because, you know, you have to pay for all these small things and they do add up. For example, like each tooth we drill, it's like $4.50, and some teeth like cost up to $20. And I remember like those x-ray plates, they cost $70 per plate. So yeah, these things do add up. So I do recommend saving up a few extra, dollars just for little things before you start dental school. But yeah, those are all the questions that I've prepared. I think I did ramble on quite a bit because it was my first time doing this video, and I don't know, I'm just not really good at talking like this, I've realized. But yeah, if there are more questions, just please let me know in the comments. I hope to come back with another Q&A video with maybe better answers next time. But yeah, hope you guys have a nice holiday and a safe break. I'll see you soon.